Hi, everybody. Welcome to Resilient Now podcast. And we have Danielle in today. I'm really excited. I don't know her. I was referred to her, but I'm very excited to hear a resilient story. The reason we're here, I'd like to explain that first, is if you're going through something in life that you just need some inspiration, or it's just really hard and you're just like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Hopefully, my job is to find a speaker who has gone through what you're going through right now. And you'll go to Resilient Now podcast .com and you can look at the website and hopefully you'll hear somebody who's gone through, is on the other side of things for you. And that is the goal. They're not all quite there yet, but one day at a time I'm working on those. And I'm very, very excited that Danielle is here. So thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you.
And I always start the podcast with, what does resilient now mean to you?
I think resilience is dealing with any obstacle that comes your way. And it's not about being quote unquote like spiritual and just, anyone can be spiritual in a setting without the obstacle, without it. But once you're dealt with something that is very challenging, no matter what it is, being able to come out of it. And if you can if you can see the lesson in it and come to acceptance and work through it and be hopeful, I think that's a big part of resilience.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. That's amazing. I can't wait to hear your story. So I'm going to just let you proceed. Let's hear this resilient story because the world needs to hear it.
There's a few. I guess I'll go through my first one. So when I was a little girl, my mother was very sick with breast cancer, and she was like 31 years old, and I already had my parents, they were divorced, and she was remarried to a man who was pretty abusive. And she ended up passing a few years later. Um, I ended up bouncing around to different relatives. Eventually, I was orphaned, and I moved out on my own at 16, and then got a job, moved to the city, got my own apartment in high school. And that was my first story of resilience. There's a lot more that came
It's a
after
big
that, but
story. Yeah.
yeah. hmm
Oh my goodness.
But that was one.
So when you were going through that, what did you do? Did you pray about it? What made you get up in the morning and be able to deal with that? What were those feelings? How did you get past those feelings?
My mother was very spiritual, and she left me with a lot of books. A lot of kids at the time were reading Judy Blume novels and
I
how.
read that. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 46, so if you go back to that period of time, it
Yeah.
was like Catcher in the Rye, Judy Blume, all that kind of stuff. And my mom was giving me many lives, many masters. I was reading Louise Hay, reading about her affirmations. I was reading George Anderson, We Don't Die. I believe strongly in reincarnation, and my mother taught me about reincarnation as a child. She taught
Okay.
me how to meditate with her when I was like 9 years old. So I started meditating with her, and she told me when she was passing, and she explained that all of us have a purpose and our soul comes here for a correction, and that she would always be with me. And she told me after she left to really understand that we'll see each other in the next life. And I just believed it. So I always felt very close to God. I always felt like my mom was like my guardian angel, and she walked with me. And I'm an only child, so I don't have parents. I don't have any family at all.
Mm.
But I don't know. I had this like amazing strength, and I really believe that she's been with me. And then luckily her best friend, who has been like a soul mother to me, became very involved in my life, and she's given me a lot of strength. And she's very psychic and intuitive and spiritual. So spirituality is really what's been my compass in life. And I don't know how people can go through challenges if they have complete lack of faith. Faith is the only thing that has allowed me to be okay.
So how old were you again when your mom passed, did you say?
13.
13. So that's very young. So, all right. So tell me, can we keep talking about more of the resilience story moving forward? How did your life move forward from being into the different homes with your families and
So I lived with a few different relatives. Ones I barely knew. My father was not in the picture. They were already divorced. I lived with an aunt and uncle in Queens. It was a one-bedroom apartment. There was five of us. My 6'3", 6'4" cousin. We're very tall. Our family, we're the tallest Jews you've ever seen. We look like a team of basketball players. I'm 5'10", my cousin's 6'4", so is the other girl's like 6 feet tall. My
Oh,
cousin was
wow.
living in the kitchen and his feet would touch the refrigerator. I was sharing a living room with my younger cousin, and eventually it just became crazy. And it was very challenging. And I ended up I started working. I started working in New York City nightlife, and I got a roommate in high school in my
Okay.
junior year.
Okay.
And then my senior year, I moved to the city and I got my own apartment. And it was between, God, I was bartending, hostessing. I got a modeling agency. I just started like doing everything, hustling, hustling, hustling to make money. And then I decided I wanted to pursue a career in health. So I started studying under a shaman when I was 18 and
Mhm.
learning from him. And then I got certified as a Reiki therapist, a polarity therapist. I got my massage license. I started teaching yoga. I got my degree in nutrition, started working in clinical practice, and then I got cancer.
Oh my God. Tell me about that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you. So, yeah, it happened to me when I was 30, and I was working in one of the top clinics in Manhattan. And yeah, I started having a lot of weird symptoms. And, I was a picture of health. I was convinced I would never be like my mother. I felt like, I became a vegan. I was teaching yoga at the time. I was in clinical practice as a nutritionist for a major clinic, doing Ashtanga yoga every day. Being a vegan. I mean, there's no reason that would happen to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got really sick and I was like, this is insane. So I ended up finally recovering and I thought, wow, my karma really hit me as a young age. I wrote a book called Smile at Your Challenges. I was like so proud of myself. I was like, look, I really got through all this. And then 7 years later, I got Lyme disease
Oh God.
and it became chronic. I never saw the bullseye rash, so I got really sick. And then I finally recovered. And then COVID came around, and then I got long COVID, and I felt like my life was over. I just couldn't take like one thing after the next.
I'm so
And
sorry.
thank God, thank God. Like I would tell you now that my health is very good, and so much of it was not from what I learned in school. It was not the clinic that I worked in. It was not all the nutritional protocols. So much of it had to do with my faith. I went back to really visualizing myself well. I prayed every day. I talked to my creator. I know you talked about the beginning of the show. It did not sound weird to me that you pray before you speak with people or at least say something. For me, like I have a very strong relationship with my creator. At least I feel like I do. And yeah, I ended up finding an amazing teacher through my prayers, who was a teacher of martial arts. And I was very sick when I came to him. I was having a nurse come to the house every 3 weeks giving me IV immunoglobulin therapy because I was so sick. I had such vertigo. I was having fainting spells. I mean, I was just going through hell between the Lyme, the COVID, my autoimmunity, like all this stuff. I couldn't fix
You
it.
could catch a break.
Couldn't catch a break. Couldn't catch a break. And then a little over 2 years ago, I met my teacher. His name is Sifu Gary Tong. He martial artist, started working with me on Tai Chi and Qigong. And I couldn't understand. I taught yoga for 20 years and I was like, what is this going to do for my body that, the yoga and all of these other practices had not done? And it had to do a lot with downregulating my nervous system. People with a lot of trauma in their lives tend to have more, I would say, fall into categories like autoimmunity, or if they have some kind of chronic illness that worsens because of unresolved emotions.
Wow.
And my nervous system became a lot more regulated. And then once I started I did a lot of other holistic therapies that did not take before, but once I got into the martial arts with my teacher, I started to get better and better. And now, for the past 2 years, I've been a student of Wing Chun Kung Fu, which is what Bruce Lee does. So now,
Oh, wow.
now, now I can fight with men, like legitimately. Yeah.
So
So
very strong from the inside out. That's amazing.
thank God, But I know enough to not get too cocky because I've thought that, I've kind of overcome everything and I sort of paid my dues, but doesn't necessarily work like that. So I think being resilient is not to anticipate something, to be hopeful and faithful that it's going to work out. But sometimes big souls have big challenges and you keep getting challenged, and it's finding that resilience to be able to come back from them and believe they'll get better. It's just, it's like the bigger the vessel, the bigger the experience you're going to get. So I'm just like, I always, when I talk to God now, I'm very clear. I'm like, please, if you want to teach me a lesson, like tap me gently on the shoulder. Don't let it be through physical suffering, something else, but just be kind in the way of my physical body. I don't want to be hit there anymore. And that's what I pray for.
And it sounds like you live in today. You're very present. So
Yeah, I try. I mean, it's work, but I try.
it is work, isn't it?
So
Yeah,
much work. Yeah,
yeah, your mind wants to go to the future and live in the past, and then it's a present, so you miss the present. And anyway,
yeah.
you're a great example. Oh my God, you've gone through so much. Thank you. Thank you for telling us your story. So I typically finish the podcast with a top gratitude because gratitude to me pretty much trumps everything. Like if you're a
Absolutely.
woman or, if you're just sad. So if you think of things you're grateful, it could really change your mind. So tell me what's your top gratitude right now?
I'm grateful for my health, for to have love in my life, to have people around me that are special, to have, I mean, I feel like the list, there's so many things on my list. I don't even know, like, I guess health one, but there's like, my list is so long that I just feel grateful to, have health, have good friends, have a career that I can help other people, be able to communicate and maybe help other people in their lives, and just the gratitude of having gone through these experiences, but being able to share and let people know that they're not alone in their suffering, and even though it may feel that way.
Yes, faith has gotten you through so much. So you're a great example of that. So thank you for sharing with us. So for everybody else, if you want to get in touch with any of the speakers here, just email me at resilientnowpodcast@gmail.com. And if I can do that for you, I will. I'll connect you if I can. And I just want to thank you, Danielle. Thank you for coming. Thank you for opening up your heart and your mind to us and sharing your resilience. You are an incredible, strong woman with an amazing God. So it was really a privilege to meet you, and thank you
Thank
so much.
you. And it's beautiful that you're doing this. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
connecting.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay resilient now, everybody, and you make it a wonderful day. Bye.